Stand up. All stand up. It's time. I love this song so much. All right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna find somebody. We're gonna do I need at least 5 high tens to someone you haven't met yet in the room. 5 high 10. And begin. 5 high 10. Yes. And one more. 5. Good. Now, I want you guys to tell them I am a ninja marketer with a high 10. 3, 2, 1. I am a ninja marketer. All right. And now, a different person. Get ready for our next segment. You're going to say, I am a master closer. I am a master closer. I'm a master closer. Awesome. And the last one is going to be for the next segment after that. I am the front desk rock star. I am the front desk rock star. The front desk rock star. I am the front desk rock star. Oh, I am the front desk rock star. Last one, guys. I know I said last one. One more. This one. I am going to lead my patients out of the corrupt healthcare system. I am going to lead my patients out of the corrupt healthcare system. I'm going to lead my patients out of the corrupt healthcare system. I'm going to lead my patients out of the corrupt healthcare system. Excellent. Round of applause across the floor. Good job. Take a seat. That's awesome. Calm her down. Awesome, guys. Okay, so quick thing I wanted before I forgot from the last segment. If you haven't yet, do a deep dive into our marketing toolbox on the website, the marketing toolbox. So there's Canva templates you guys can use for postcards and mailers and PGCs and all kinds of stuff. This is all available as a Canva template in our marketing toolbox that you guys can use. It's already made for you. They're ready to go. You guys can adjust or change them as needed. But they're just great handouts and things you guys can use to get in touch with people in different companies. You guys can take these to this is like the wellness boost package or the public gift card. If you take this image here and then you guys put this on a little gift card, like a credit card, almost like you guys can get that on through. Let's see that there. There it is. Right. Dr. Pierce was on top of it already. Right. Customize it to the brands and colors of your office. Right. If you guys aren't using this in your office, you should have this everywhere in your practice, right? You get a free QR code online, stick it there, print this off, put it in a little, one of these guys, on the walls, laminate them everywhere. And I'm telling you, it's easy for patients to put in lots and lots and lots of reviews. We didn't even talk about reviews today. But every one of you guys should have at least 200 to 300 to 400 5-star reviews on your Google. If you're not yet, there's 1,000 ways you can do it through different kinds of patient promotions. But that's the key tool you guys want to use in your office in the marketing toolbox on the TBA website. So as I get our next slide deck ready for our final talk before lunch, all about getting patients excited. Now we have a lot of new patients on the schedule. We got to get them excited to say yes to cash-based services. So before I get the slide deck up, I'm going to have Dr. Gary share a few minutes on you built a multi-million dollar practice, and most of it came off of what we were talking about this morning about events. Can you share a little bit about how that worked for you?
Yeah. So just a little background on how I built my office is basically events. So I would say 2005-ish, I was seeing around 100, 125 visits a week. And then, I think most of I really sucked at closing people on care. And so I ended up taking a report of findings course here at the Business Academy. And then my closing percentage went from 35% to 80%. So it created a lot of good problems. Right. And so all I needed to do is fill the pipeline of new patients. And so the easiest way for me at that time was I'm going to do events, corporate events. And so we became very good at doing massage pamper events, health fairs, lunch and learns. And so to Ethan's point, we created a calendar. We had a 90-day calendar. I hired someone to set up events and do events. And I eventually built it to where I had 2 staff members who ran my Division 6 marketing, and it was all based on events. We went from about 125 visits a week to 600 visits a week in about 2 years. And so it definitely works. It works really well today. Not as many offices are doing them as pre-COVID. And so there's a lot of opportunity. People want to try to help their employees out. I mean, we're living in a society now where there's more and more given to employees with these big companies, and they want more services like this. And so another thing that we started post-COVID was B12 breakfast type events. So we would set up a free, a B12 injection. You can get an RN, to work with you part-time to go to an event and administer B12 or, and we would upsell to vitamin C and zinc injections. And so it's $1.50, to provide that for a person. And we just go to a Mexican restaurant and get burritos. And so we just B12 and breakfast, we just do burritos or whatever. Right. And then we'd set up a screening station. So everyone that came in for the injections was getting a spinal screening as well, whether you use a SAM unit or a Surface CMG or whatever instrument you want to use. We just, would actually screen everybody. Okay. So events are you can build an office very. I actually think for chiropractic services, you can build an office faster doing events than you can social media. That's social media is great, but everyone and their mother is out there doing it. Events, there's not as many people doing it. So there's a lot of opportunity to do corporate events. People love massage pamper events, right? Who doesn't like to get massaged? Everyone likes a little bit of love every once in a while, right? So work those muscles out. And with the proper scripts to educate people, we have a very high percentage of people that actually come in from those events. Okay. So
then also, if you do the marketing course, the new TBA marketing course that's available right now for all of you to get certified on, you can cross train on the new marketing course. Maria can get through it. You can get through the new marketing certification. It's about 15 to 16 hours worth of training, all available to you, your team, and everybody else that's part of the TBA program. Did you realize that all your staff has unlimited access to the marketing certifications that we have? Yeah, every single one. Yeah. And it goes over all the Dr. Gary's webinar he did, or training session on B12 and injections, and the SOPs for it are practiced and drilled. So it's muscle memory. Employee pamper events, community events, everything of how to do the events we talked about. It's all in the marketing course. All you got to do is talk to Mindy. You can do it on Zoom or in person, and that certification will dial you into exactly how to go from idea, I want to do an event like this, to new patients coming in the door in mass.
So a couple of things. How many owners, providers do we have in the room? Owners, providers. Okay, everyone's okay. So here's a side business. If you really want to look at wealth creation, and this is for everyone in the room, wealth creation is always going to come from having multiple streams of income. Have you guys heard that? Got to have multiple flows, right? So one of the things that I did, which made my marketing almost cost nothing, was that I started a healthcare company. Okay. So if by having a healthcare company, and number one, through the Business Academy, you guys have access for was it $100 a year?
$99 a year. Yeah.
$99 a year. You have access to Doctors for Health and Wellness. It's a nonprofit organization that you can use to actually get into companies. Now, I want you to kind of see how that looks, right? So how many of you, the owners here in the room, have tried to get into events and been turned away from doing events? Right? Okay. When you went to go do an event, were you coming in and say, hey, I'm Dr. DC. I'd like to do this for you, right? Is that how you went in? Now, okay, the difference is, and I've used this analogy before. So you remember the old castles in Europe, and they had the moat around it, and they had to put the drawbridge down to let you in, right? And so back, 500-600 years ago, if someone was riding up on a horse, they'd have a flag, and the flag would do what? You guys know what the flag did? Right now, if you see an American flag, where are you from?
America.
If you see a Mexican flag, right? It identifies who you are. So if someone's coming up and wants to get into the castle and they see an enemy flag, are they letting that drawbridge come down? They're not letting you in. So when you're riding up on, you're riding up and, you got that DC flag flying. Are they lowering that? No. There's a lack of trust in society with chiropractors. You guys realize that, right? Okay. Now, if you come up riding up and you're a nonprofit organization and you're donating your time to help them, are they lowering that drawbridge? Yep. The amount of events that you schedule skyrocket when you're actually doing it as a nonprofit organization. So we've established that for you. Now, where is there opportunity for staff? Let me ask this for the owners in the room. How many of you would put a health fair company together where you're getting paid by other vendors every time you go to an event? Every event that you do, you're having, let's say you had 20 vendors and they each are paying $200 to be there. That's $4,000 that you're making every event that you do. So if you did one a week, a $16,000 of revenue you're bringing in. Okay. That's paying for your marketing. It pays for your massage therapists. All of a sudden, your Div 6 is actually your marketing department is actually bringing revenue in. Now you can do revenue shares with your staff who are running that area. Any marketers in the room? Okay.
Sorry, one more time, guys. Any marketers in the room?
Marketers in the room?
One more time. Any marketers in the room?
Just to let you guys know, every one of you are a marketer. Owners, you're marketers too, right? But anyone posted up in Division 6, right, in their marketing department, I mean, if I really wanted to crush it, I'd be going to the owner saying, I want to build a pipeline full of new patients by creating a health fair company, utilizing TBA knowledge to get bonused out on that. How many owners in here, how many would pay a bonus per head that comes in if you had that machine on? Right? It's an easy system to put in, and all the training happens here at the Business Academy. So literally you can create, instead of putting money into Division 6 and it's a draining, like you're putting 15 to 20, you should put 15% of your income GI into marketing, right? You guys know that, right? But what if you had a system that actually paid you, to have your marketing in? Does that sound better? Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean, I want you guys to kind of think of your community and listen, if you did one health fair a week, and you went to that company twice a year and you took a couple of weeks off a year, that's 24 companies. All you need to do is get into 24 companies and you do them twice a year. You have one health fair a week. And then you collaborate with other businesses in town that you want to go, like your natural foods or a natural dentist or an acupuncturist, or, with my health fairs, I actually had 4 booths there because I had 4 different flows of different services. So you can play whatever game you want to play, but there's opportunity for staff in here, and the other thing I'm not sure, this is going to get into leadership later with Ethan. He's going to be providing a segment on leadership. For those of you who how many of you want a career in here? A career for staff, right? You just want a career, right? Like you want opportunity, right? So if you put the time in to train up your staff and you start swimming in the Kool-Aid and have some faith, confidence, beliefs in the product, service, and ideas that your office does, and you jump in, there is opportunity for growth. I've got some 6-figure, staff on my team right now, and it's because they work their butt off and they allow me not to be there. And so as an owner, like if you're wanting to phase 2, which phase 2 means you have someone doing the work for you. Phase 1 is when you're doing it yourself in an organization, right? So phase 2 is when staff push you up and out of the organization. So when Ethan hits this later, you guys should be focused on, like, how do I get the owner out of this area and I crush it here? Because what happens is you become so valuable that you'll move up in the organization to where maybe you start off as a marketer, and then you go to a case manager, or maybe you go into maybe an executive director. The skill set that's being learned here is for the owner to phase out of what they don't want to do so they can have freedom. And everyone's definition of freedom is different. Some people just want to treat patients all day long, and that's great. But then you need a management team to run it. Is that you guys with me on this stuff? I mean, there's so much opportunity in this room. I mean, I have an executive director that's about ready to buy one of my offices.
And that's an employee, right?
An employee. She started off as in marketing and case management. And now she's been running my office for 5-6 years. I have massive games that I'm doing. So I don't want to, I don't want that focusing on that anymore. So she's buying it, so it's and so she's going to be walking into, a 6-figure, a business that's produced 3 million, 4 million a year. Okay. So it's there's so much opportunity. It's like, what do you guys want? Like most people will say they want security, right? But it's like, it's okay. But like, the thing is, if you're really good at your job, you'll always have a job. Like you will always have opportunity. And that's where just sharpen the axe, right? I always say this, Abraham Lincoln said, if it took 6 hours to cut down a tree, he would spend 4 hours doing what? Sharpening the axe. When you come here on these weekends, you're sharpening the axe. But if this is the only time you sharpen the axe, you got to be doing it daily. You got to be in the grind daily, sharpening the axe. And the thing is if you do a really good job, opportunity will always follow. You guys with me on that?
Yeah.
So anyway, I digress.
I love that.
Right.
Good.
Perfect. Awesome. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, Dr. Gary, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So our stage today is rather small, but I am probably going to share some of his insights here for this segment before noon as well as we go into this next portion. So for those that weren't here right at 9, I want you guys to write this link, bit.ly/June workshop 23, case sensitive. This is a PDF of all the slides for today. All the slides from earlier, all the slides I'm going to go over now, all the slides from this afternoon. They're our gift to you. Don't let them grow digital dust on them. Put them to use. Use AI and Chat GPT to download the PDF, convert them into training and SOPs. Guys, I'm giving this stuff to you guys. Take it. Use it. Put it into practice. Teach it to others. June workshop 23. So bit.ly/J June W workshop 23. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so now we have lots of new patients. So now we have to convert them onto care. So here's some key parts, things we have to really confront. Here's the first you have to confront. I don't want to have to sell patients on care any more than you do. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. So we're going to replace that word sales. I'm not going to use that word. I know all of y'all have like a allergic reaction to that word every time I say it. We're going to use the word excite. We have to get patients excited to say yes to change their health. Because if their insurance, their health insurance equaled good health care, which is what they've been told for years and decades, everybody deserves health care as a right. What does that translate into by that politician? Well, everyone should have health insurance. So people thought health insurance equals my health care, which equals I am healthy. That is not what health insurance was ever designed to do, nor is it there to create that. I have to unbrainwash you guys too, because patients will convince you. I don't want to do anything that my health insurance doesn't cover. And they sit there like this, and I was hoping this was a lot of money, and why was my insurance cover this? And then you just kind of go, I don't know. And then they just kind of sort of don't say yes to care, and then they get whatever. Now, if you are in network, or if you are taking out of network benefits, then there are some benefits with your services, but likely the amount of coverage that you're asking the patient to do, none of recommendations you're having the patient do to get through all 3 phases of care, out of acute pain into functional correction and moving through to wellness, their health insurance will or will not cover that. And even if they did, let's say they covered all 50 visits, what is the reimbursement going to look like, for Christ's sake? If you're in network with American Specialty Health, here's $11 a visit for a mountain of paperwork for managed care. Maybe I'll give you 2 more visits. And you sit there on your weekends, docs, doing paperwork for an insurance company that does not have your best interest at heart. And they are trying to intentionally squeeze you out of business. You know how I know that? I was just at Dr. Gary's Regenerative Revolution Academy. He put on an event for medical professionals and nurse practitioners last weekend near the airport in Tampa International. The room was full of primary care doctors, healthcare practitioners, medical doctors, and nurse practitioners that all own private practices. And guess what they're complaining about? I'm getting squeezed out of insurance too. And all you chiropractors are like, join the party. They're getting squeezed out. Why? Because they want to squeeze them into the hospital system. They don't want small private practices because they're nice and cushed up with the hospital system, major medical. It's a good system. It's high profits and it's lots of volume of revenue for insurance companies. So I'm not invalidating your practice if you're in network, right? Because that is a way to attract new patients. I'm telling you though, if you just do what their insurance covers, it's not going to be a way to run a thriving practice. And the patients aren't fully taking responsibility for their health. And that's what we're trying to change. Not just getting them out of pain, but taking full responsibility and empowering them to take care of their health. So let's just look at some numbers here, some data points. So health insurance companies have substantial control over healthcare, including many holistic healthcare disciplines in your office. Their influence dictates the treatments approved, reimbursed often, favoring traditional over holistic methods due to established reimbursement structures. Insurance company policies can hinder your practice. If you're doing regen, obviously, non-medical based neuropathy treatment, functional medicine, physical rehab, through burdensome approval processes, lowering reimbursements, and minimal to no coverage, right? If you're doing shockwave, right, an amazing modality, insurance company is not going to cover that. Regenerative medicine services, revolutionizing the way healthcare can be done, is not covered by insurance, right? Most neuropathy treatments that are an alternative to gabapentin and other medications like that are not covered by insurance, right? Functional medicine, literally changing the gut biome and the entire chemistry of the body to live a health and wellness lifestyle, is not covered by insurance. Guys, it's a ringtone that's going to keep playing over and over again, not covered by insurance. And your patients will bitch and complain about that in the same way that I bitched and complained about my coffee this morning being $6.83. Did I sit there and complain and leave the line and not do my order? What did I do? I said, are you kidding me? $6.80? I look at the barista, the guy, the cashier, he's like, dude, I don't make the price for Starbucks. Like, dude, just, you want it? And I'm like, this is crazy. This is so ridiculous. Beep. Oh my God, I can't believe the fact they're so expensive. And I walk towards the part where I get my coffee. I complain all the way to paying for it. So will your patients. Just because they're complaining about it or it's a problem does not mean they don't want to say yes. Yeah. They're just complaining about it. Mm-hmm. They're pissed off just as much as you are, right? One of the best lines as one of the best rebuttals or acknowledgements, one of our doctors just north of Atlanta said to they have a fully cash practice. It's chiropractic and functional medicine. They don't take any insurance. And he said, I go, Dr. Matt, how do you, and actually you can listen to his podcast episode. It's on our Spotify, episode 6 with Dr. Matt Wolfert. It's like 20 minutes. It's really good. And I go, how do you handle patients that say, why doesn't my insurance cover this? I have my insurance for a reason. I pay for my insurance. I want to use it. And he goes, I just sit there and look at them. And I go, Chris, the very reason you're here today in front of me with this problem is because of your health insurance. And he just pauses and looks at them. He tells them the truth. And I go, what happens? And they go, oh, I know, shit, my health insurance sucks, and they get pissed off. And they go, yeah, it does suck. They don't have this. They're not here to help you with this, but we are. You're here right now. Let's get you better. Let's do this. You can sign here to get started. We'll get you treated today. And he says, with enough ARC and rapport built, patients just kind of snap out of it and they go, you're right. Mm-hmm. Move forward. It's not always that easy, but sometimes he has to level with them with lots of love and be like, your insurance is the whole reason you're here in front of me today. It's because of the coverages that they don't give you, leading you wouldn't be here if they were taking care of your health. And that's the truth. So I want you guys to keep this thought process in mind as we move through this. This obstructionist approach discourages practitioners from adopting holistic treatments, focusing instead on methods that align with insurance reimbursement strategies instead of aligning with your philosophy of care. The amount of chiropractors that I've met over the years that determine the patient's care is based on a pencil pusher in a corporate office with Aetna, not based what he went into $200,000 in debt for in 8 years of schooling to recommend to somebody. That's not okay. That's not healthcare. That's a corporate giant and somebody who's making profits and has quarterly shares at the end in mind, not what you went to school for. You did not go to school, docs, to just do what insurance companies say you have to do. The insurance sector's emphasis on quarterly earnings and shareholder returns often clashes with patient-centric preventative focus of holistic health. The current system setup overlooks the potential long-term cost savings and health benefits of holistic health treatments like you guys offer, signaling a critical need to move your patient in a different direction. All right. So that's what we're trying to, when I get really passionate about offering cash-based services, I'm passionate about it because of this. Big pharma is one thing, but you know who controls big pharma? Big insurance. We all bitch about big pharma. Purdue, Pfizer, they're doing some pretty crappy things, but who is their puppet master? Aetna, United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, because guess who's funding those guys? They're not getting anything unless insurance coverages and reimbursements fee schedules are going to be in place. All right, so docs, staff, here's some questions for you. Year to year, Moran, especially in California, are insurance companies and benefits going to be increasing coverages for services you guys in the office as the year goes on, the years go on? They're going to be increasing the coverages of what? No? Okay. Dr. Chris, I'm going to give Dr. Chris's last bullet point. Is PIP going to be here forever?
You already tried to take it away?
There he did. I'm always like, fingers crossed. Oh God, don't take it away from us this year. Come on, DeSantis, save us. For those,
Did the opposite.
right? So ultimately, Florida offices depend on PIP for their business. Everyone else is just like, huh? In this room, they're like, what's PIP? We've been surviving without it for years, right? This is going to go away. Florida doctors and practices, this is going to go away at some point. California, do you guys have PIP? Exactly, right? North Carolina? Nope. PIP? Nope. No. Maine, do you guys have PIP? No. South Carolina? No PIP? Nothing. No personal injury protection? No $10,000? Nothing? Nope. Right? That'll be Florida soon. It'll be gone soon. I don't want it to go. I'm not trying to postulate it's going to leave. I just know it's going to happen at some point. It's already been this close too many times. So that's why having cash-based services and getting good at getting patients excited is key now, so that when the day comes, the rug is going to be pulled being pulled from underneath you. Georgie, are insurance companies going to be increasing reimbursements to providers for covered services on pace with inflation? We had like 7 to 8% of inflation last 2 years. Is insurance company reimbursements keeping up with that? Right, Doc? They're not going, oh, you know what? It has been Medicare is a freaking federal program. They should be. They're the ones creating the inflation. Why aren't they inflating reimbursement costs? No, they're taking it. Anyways, I'm complaining to the choir. I know. I want you guys to get to anger. I'm sorry. I want you to get pissed off about it because I'm sick and tired of you depending on it. These guys, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. That's your pimp right there.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be crass. But he says, they go out and say, give me some more. Oh, here's some penance. Go do it again. That's what these guys do to your practices if you depend on them. You don't get to live your life. You live your pimp's life. I'm sorry if that offended anybody. But this is not the way that you're going to save people's lives. It's a nice benefit to have in your office, but it is not the way you're going to save your patients. All right, so how do we get patients excited to invest in their health? Here's some bullet points you can keep in mind. Here's some skill sets. Here's some things you have to do as a practice. You have to be a differentiator in the marketplace, meaning your practice has to be different than every other practice in your zip code or on your block or in your county that does take insurance. If you're just like everybody else, if I'm a patient, why would I come to your office and pay out of pocket when I can go down the street for the exact same product and service and they're going to take my insurance? What makes you different? I'll give you an example. My dentist out in Tampa, I wish I had pictures. Maybe I'll show you guys later. But if you follow her Instagram, you'll see how she's a differentiator. Her practice is called Flossology, FLOSSOLOGIE, Flossology. Now, when you walk in there, you're not walking to a dental office. It's like the last possible thing you'd think of a dental office. It's a place you go and hang out. It's got a beautiful aesthetic, and it doesn't smell like a dental office. I don't smell any fluoride. It doesn't feel like it. None of the dental triggers kick in. She's different. And because of that, she can charge cash. I happily pay cash for their services. I happily pay, obviously Invisalign, right, is cash, but all my cavities and all my dental work and my cleanings, I happily pay for it on her programs because of her staff, the services she offers, the experience I get when I walk in. It just feels different. I've gone to an in-network provider here in Clearwater down the street, like 3 blocks away. And what do I get? A dirty office, creaking floors, rude staff that have yellow teeth. And I'm like, I'm in a dental office and they have yellow teeth, right? I get a lot of wait times, it's kind of an odd experience, but you know what? They take my dental coverage, my dental insurance, but I don't want to go back there. I'd rather just be done with that and then go pay someone cash. That makes an experience different. So I want you guys to answer this first. You guys have to be a different, maybe it's the services you're offering. Like if you have Shockwave or you have neuropathy programs or you have regenerative services or you do spinal decompression, right? Maybe you have something different that the next guy that is taking insurance doesn't have. But what else in your notes makes you different than the in-network provider, chiropractor or phys med office down the street? And what makes you different in the way that they should see you versus just using their benefits somewhere else and not paying cash? What makes you different? Write it down. What makes you a differentiator? You got to have something special. Otherwise, I can just go over here, have them, rack and crack me and just take my insurance, pay my $5 copay. Every one of you guys have a differentiator either up here or you have it in place in your office. Just make sure you're firm. You know what that is. All right. Good. Pass the mic around, Maria. You guys have some pretty awesome differentiators, right? Give me 1 or 2 rapid fire, your differentiators versus the in-network providers and take my insurance down the street?
I think for one, just creating a really customized approach to what they actually need, not cookie cutter. And then I think we really have a good family feel to our office. And then we've got an ocean view while you're doing treatment.
That's pretty good too.
It's pretty good.
That's worth, that's some good differentiators. Awesome. Good. I pass the mic back. And Melissa, you guys are in network, right? So you guys do take insurances, but you're also asking the patient to pay out of pocket for additional services to get better and also some cash services. So what's a differentiator for you guys?
We have Shockwave, which is awesome, but we also have a family feel. We have a baby in our office, so she makes it seem like we're just loving and people love us.
Love it. Jen, what else?
Just the amount of different therapies that we have. We don't just have one. We have decompression, the Shockwave. We've got rapid release therapy, muscle stem, lasers. So we have all kinds of just the Pro Adjuster, all kinds of just different things than just a normal chiro office.
Perfect.
It's just a lot to offer.
That's great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Perfect. Good. So differentiator is key. The other thing that's going to make patients excited about saying yes to care is you have to become a master communicator, right? I know Joanna, Angela, you guys are great at this, right? Because you guys have been to all the communication and closing seminar sessions. You guys have mastered the art of soft skill and communication. That makes a difference. The intangible ability to build a relationship to a grumpy, in pain, insulting patient and still loving on them and building a relationship with them to get them closer to saying yes is going to be key, right? You have to, guys, the patient is being educated on what insurance is supposed to do for them. In fact, their insurance, how many times do you hear where they go, oh, no, I called my insurance and they said they'll cover it. They will straight up lie to your patients, right? You have to educate them, right? On not only their health, but also on how the system works and why they're in front of you and why you guys do it the way you do it in your office. That's key. Education is key. Don't skip on education. Day 1, day 2 process is important for that. You got to help them become aware of the severity of their condition. This is the awareness scale. This is them becoming aware gradually as to the greater severity of their present condition and what it leads to in the future. Help them paint a picture of their future. What are their health goals, right? They've been living a life of chronic pain and disease, right? You might paint a picture of what their life could be with them in this process. These are all ways you get patients excited about care, right? Make it their idea. right? Talking at a patient never makes it their idea. But when you ask questions and become a master at answering questions, it'll become the patient's idea, and then they'll make the self-determined decision to move forward, right? To get their life back. This is a good one to write down a little bumper sticker, guys. The quality of your questions in a day 1, day 2 determines the quality of your answers. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. Okay. I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So let's see. All right, Josh. Hey man, how's it going?
I'm good.
Pretty good. Cool. All right. Low quality question, right? Low quality answer. His life could be falling apart. And how's he going to respond? Yeah, I'm good. How you doing? I'm good. Low quality question, low quality answer. Right? And now if Doc, you were a patient and I said, you know what, you've been suffering from this for over 20 years. Do you think, honestly, this is going to get any better or going to get worse if you keep ignoring it? It won't get better. You're right. A higher quality question leading to a higher quality response, right? So the quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. To get patients excited on the care, you got to get good at answering, at asking very hard-hitting, important, deep questions that will get the person to look. All right, rapid fire, ARC triangle, we know what that is. Sean, A stands for, thank you very much. Jen, R stands for,
Reality.
and Maria, C stands for, that's right. So affinity, reality, communication. What does affinity mean? Affinity is love. Affinity is appreciation. That is when somebody, they walk in the room and everything just seems to brighten up. That's affinity, right? You have respect towards somebody, that's affinity. You see your kids and even though you want to strangle them because they're driving you crazy, but you still love them to death, that's affinity, right? Reality is commonality, right? It's when you're simpatico with somebody, right? It's when, you think so much the same way, right, Angela? And they go, we basically finish each other's, right? Exactly. That's like reality. We're all on the same page, right? Why is a patient in your office? Is it because they want to learn about chiropractic? Did they drive a half an hour to get a lecture on chiropractic? No. What they want to know is, can you help me? Can I trust that you're going to get me better? Can I trust someone in the right place? That's their reality. So here's another little acronym for you guys, WIIFM. Your job is to tune into the patient's radio station, right? For those that still listen to terrestrial radio, everyone's like, what's radio, right? WIIFM, right? What does it stand for? WIIFM. Dr. Jello's got it. What's in it for me? Your patient is subconsciously or consciously asking that question of themselves whenever you're talking to them. They're going, what's in it for me? Okay, cool, got it. What's in it for me? Interesting. That sounds really cool. What's in it for me? 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 That question is being repeated over and over. And so when you're talking on their x-ray, we have some hyperkyphosis here in the mid part of the back on, T3, between T3 and T5. And, give me some more medical chiropractic terms, Doc. Give me some more. Stenosis over here with the other gnosis and the other phosis and all that, right? That's what it sounds like to the patient, right? They're asking themselves, what's in it for me? Obviously not this. I have no idea what he's talking about, right? So guys, you have to get into their reality. Your reality is, how can you help me? What does this have to do with what I'm coming in for, right? Communication, two-way. You got to be able to get an exchange of ideas, get good at asking questions, communicating effectively, learn how to match tone levels, emotional tones, use your voice, use your body language. These are all skills we use to build more ARC, right? So Sean, think of someone in your life that you have a lot of ARC for. Got him? Mm-hmm. Cool. And why do you have ARC, affinity, agreement, reality, and communication with that person?
Why?
Yeah, why? It's not just a random person, right?
Guess not.
Is there a reason you like him or her?
We shared same interests.
Fair enough. Reality.
Just enjoy spending time with them.
Cool. You like having the same space, affinity. Good.
Yeah. And we exchange ideas.
Yeah. Easy to talk to most of the time. Fair enough. It's good communication. ARC, right? 1 point goes up, so do the other 2 points. If you say something offensive, like many times I go, you know what? It's crazy. I just love being a Raider fan. Raider Nation, baby. What? No, where's my black and silver? Come on, black hole, baby. Back home? Anybody from Vegas, Oakland? How much reality do I have with you guys?
Nope.
None. What do you think of with most Raider fans when you go to a game? Exactly. Good. How much ARC is there? Not a lot. Right? But if I'm like, this is our year, Dolphins, it's our year. Come on, girl. Always. Let's go. Right? A little more affinity, a little more reality. Time to create some communication. That's your goal. Another tip. In day one, you should know what the patient's values are. Their reality is what they value. What does this person value? They're not just valuing getting out of pain. They value what? Their grandkids. They value their work. They value, Angela, how much do you value staying active? A lot, right? Maybe the person next to you doesn't, right? But you value that a lot. And why do you value staying active? Stay healthy. And why do you want to, what do you feel like emotionally when you're active and pushing your body to the brink and doing an activity that you love?
Feel like the best, best version.
Got it. And how does that feel? It's just like an emotion. When you feel the best version of you, how do you feel about yourself? Confident, right? Good. What's your reality? Being active equals being confident. Who here wants to be confident and beautiful and awesome?
Mhm.
Every one of us, all your patients do, right? They don't want to be out of pain. They want to feel confident. They want to be happy. They want to be fulfilled, right? These are what patients say yes to. How they get there is based on their values. They feel fulfilled spending time with their grandkids. They feel confident when they're active. They feel like themselves when they don't have to have assistance in getting ready in the morning with their spouse, right? Like that's what people are saying yes
Check
to.
my video.
We'll go ahead and mute that one. Good. Awesome. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's what people are, that's what you're building ARC around. What are the person's values? They're going to sit there and minimize their pain and whatever, just here to get this little fit. We're building a relationship where we're creating values. Hard sell. I know it's a hard word to use. It's an important phrase though. Hard sell is not what you think it means. It's insistence that people buy, yes, but it also means caring about the person enough. Not to be reasonable about stops or barriers, but caring enough to get through the stops or barriers to get them the service that's going to ultimately rehabilitate them. What's a stop or a barrier? I thought my insurance was going to cover it. Money, time, insurance, second opinion. These are the stops and barriers and things that get in the way, right? The first thing we have to do before we know how to give any kind of rebuttal is we have to care enough about that person to nudge them a little bit more. We have to avoid being reasonable, right? Reasonable is just, I'll get it. It's okay. I know it's a lot of money. Just let us know when you're ready. Right? I know you're busy. I don't have a lot of time. Just when you have time, let us know. Right? It's being reasonable. That's soft sell, vaguely monitoring about your product, right? Well, chiropractic could work. It could help. Come when you can. Are people going to say yes to that? No, they say yes to someone that they're looking for leadership and confidence and direction, even if they're kicking along the way, right? That's what they're looking for. We want to avoid crush sell. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to if you see what's happening on your x-rays, you're going to die tomorrow if you don't get adjusted, right? We're not doing that. We're not using fear tactics. We're not using anything to manipulate or make someone feel obviously way too uncomfortable. But we are being politely persistent, right? We are holding them accountable a bit to what they want help with. So I want to go over the VFP here, guys, of your job on day one, day two. So VFP, patient who has a burning desire to come back for day two and receive their report. When they finish the first visit, that's your outcome you're trying to create. Burning desire. Okay. What's a burning desire feel like? Would you ever have a burning desire to do something? Like what? Power lift. Like when you're getting ready for a PR, right? She lives more than me now at this point. What was your latest deadlift?
My latest
Your latest PR and deadlift.
after you, I would say my right now 350.
315 pounds deadlift. This girl right here, right? Not too bad. When you're ready to put 320 when you're at a powerlifting meet, which you were just at, remember a few weeks ago? Last November? Okay. Back in December. Yeah, everyone's cheering you on. You're getting ready. Do you have a burning desire to lift that weight up?
Yeah.
Yes. What does that feel like?
Like energy, like flushing through you.
I'm going to freaking do this.
It's the only thing all your mental energy and physical energy is going to is achieving that very next thing.
Excellent. Good. Another example. You guys are kids, Christmas Eve. As a child, you can't sleep because you have a burning desire to what? Open those gifts, right? Patient, burning desire to come back for day 2. That's what we're going for. That's how interested the person is in finding out what's going on because of the engagement we had with them. They should have a slight fear of worsening, like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? I'm actually confronting the severity of my condition for the first time in a long time. Day 2, our goal is an empowered patient. Empowered means what? They can do something about their condition, who has committed to the doctor's recommended or prescribed care and has an approved financial agreement. What's an approved financial agreement, Sean, versus a non-approved financial agreement?
They paid.
Just so they hear you back at home, they're on Zoom. They want to hear your good points here.
We have one of 3 financial options, like pay in full, where they get a discount using care credit, and then like a payment plan that they pay over a couple months. So it's like one of those options rather than just like coming in, paying for a visit here and there.
Exactly. You got it. Nailed it. They're excited. They're committed. Approved financial agreement. That's what we're going for at the end of day 2. Okay. So I want to give you guys an overview here briefly. I got about 5 minutes. Give you the high points of a solid day 1. Now, I know the Home Assassin office here has been through this training in detail during communication and closing. We're doing a deep dive into all this. I'm doing a high level. What I want you guys to do, most of you guys have this in place in your office. Just do a high level. What are we missing? Okay, I'm going to go real quick, bullet points. And you just kind of go, yep, we do that. We do that. Ooh, we stopped doing that. Oh, we started rushing the process. We don't do that anymore. So last segment, multiple sources of new patients, 5-star check-in, right? Your close happens. Angela knows the rest of this. So does Joanna. The close happens at the end of day 2, but where does it start? The first 5 seconds and 5. There you go. Perfect. Appreciate that, Doc. Good. Your close starts in the first 5 seconds, in the first 5 minutes of the patient walking into your office. The first 5 seconds. So here's the thing to keep in mind. When they walk in the first 5 seconds, what do they see when they walk into your office? Right? They see the front desk. And what are they seeing at the front desk in your office? I'm not saying to say it out loud, but just what does your front desk office look like if I walked into it right now? What's in my eye shot if I'm a new patient? Just ask that question to yourself. I know there's stacks of paper and there's some old signs you guys haven't taken down for a while. And I say this all the time. There's posters in your office with brochures with women, no offense, but yellow blazers and shoulder pads from like 1992. I said those old backtalk posters still in your office from like 20 years ago, right? What does a patient see when they walk into your front desk area? Okay. Do they hear their favorite word, which is their name, in the first 5 seconds? So if you have a new patient at 2 and it's 2:00 and somebody walks into the office that you don't recognize, who is that person likely going to be?
The next new patient.
Next new patient, right? Now, if you have the calendar in front of you, you're going to know their name. So I'm going to say, welcome to the office, Melissa. And if it's a FedEx driver, fine, I called the FedEx driver Melissa, right? But I know all the patients in my office, but if I don't recognize somebody and it's the time a new patient comes in, I know who it is, right? Address them by the first name, make sure they see and hear their first name when they walk in the first 5 seconds. Coffee, water, tea station, we all know that. If they want water, would you like still or sparkling water, right? You guys are a 5-star joint, Ritz-Carlton office, right? It's little Perrier bottles. That's easy, right? From Costco, but it makes all the difference in creating that experience for them. 5-star office tour. We know the drill. Case manager takes them back. Introduction building ARC, right? Office tours mentioned there as well. Here's the key thing. You guys spend 90% of your consult time checking boxes, getting OPQRST. If you wonder why your patients are dropping out of pain, guess what you're talking about most of the time for insurance companies? Well, what dominates the conversation when they first walk in? Pain, pain, pain. How's the pain when it travels? What's the quality of the pain? What does the pain do here? What does the pain do there? If 95% of my conversation, Doc, is about pain, should I be surprised if the patient is out of pain and they stop coming in? What have we been talking about? Pain. If the majority of your consult is checking boxes for insurance companies on OPQRST about their pain, that's all they're going to be focused on. So that stuff, they filled it out in the paperwork already, or you have to check a couple boxes. Fine. If you have 10 minutes to have a consult in the health history, what does the conversation what should it dominate around? Pain or their impact, their function, their ruin, exactly. What's a ruin? What are their values? What do they consider important? What are things they want to be doing they can't be doing? I can get OPQRST in a conversation about how they can't be active anymore. I can get all the 0 out of 10, that kind of stuff from that conversation, right? Not about their pain. Grandkids, right? Can't play with grandkids. You guys knew all this already, right? I want to talk about function, things like that. I want to talk about their emotion. Wow, really? How does that make you feel? That's terrible, right? Because this is an emotional decision they're making. So we need to engage with them emotionally in the consult at the very least. So I want to make sure I know, yes, chief complaint, OPQRST. I want to know the ruin. What is the 3 things that consist of a ruin? You guys know what it is? 3 things. It's a symptom number 1, 2 more things. Emotion, Sean got it right there. And what am I missing? Come on now, you know the answer to this. I got symptom, emotion, and impact with what?
The
Life, right? Function, right? I know I have the patient's ruin when I know they've told me this back pain, I can't hike as much anymore and stay active. And it really sucks. I like doing it. I usually feel very fulfilled when I do that, but I can't. And it's just like, I'm in so much pain when that happens. So what's my emotion? Not fulfilled. What's the function? Staying active in kayaking. Because of what symptom? Pain, right? Guess who has to say that? You or the patient's got to say it, right? That's a cue in there. So then also patient education. Who here uses every day one has their adjustable degeneration spinal models in their office? Raise your hand so I can see it. No bent elbows? There we go. Awesome. List WTF.
We do.
Oh, thank you. I'm just like, hold on a second. Okay, good. All right. Those things are key, right? Because people learn based on what you say, but also people learn kinetically, meaning physically, right? They need to feel, touch, see, visualize. They need mass. So super key. Make sure you're using those pamphlets, visuals, models, things to educate them on their condition and what it is you're going to be doing in the exam. Handoff. This is a key one. Maria, what does a good handoff from the case manager to the doctor look like?
So basically reiterating their symptom, their goals.
Oh, where'd that mic go?
Oh, right here.
Oh, sorry, no problem.
So in the handoff, reiterating what the patient has said to you, to the doctor, in terms of how it is affecting their life, what their goals are, when it started, those things. And they really see that you listen to everything they said. And then they're like, oh, wow, this person really gets me and knows how it's affecting me.
Excellent. So 30 seconds in the hallway by the case manager to the doctor. Then doctor's introduced. And then guess who is audibly or out loud saying that to the doctor in front of the patient? Case manager, right? You got to say it. The patient needs to hear that they were listened to. And that gives a perfect transition to the doctor. Doctor exam, asking questions. Don't tell a patient they have a loss of range of motion. Ask them what they noticed. Don't tell them they have a trigger point. Ask them, what is going on here? Right? When you do an ortho, like, tell me what you're feeling when I do this. Okay, how about when I pull up? Right? So think of all the exams. Stop telling the patient what's wrong with them. Start asking them what they're noticing. Then reaffirm their observation. So that's just, I'm not a doctor, but I've seen Dr. Gary do this 1,000 times over. The way he raises awareness is he just asks the patient, what are you feeling here? What is that? Oh God, yeah, it's freaking tight. You're right, that is tight. Man, that is not, okay, let's try over here. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's sore right there. Notice that, I'm barely even touching you right now. Like, notice here's the other side right here. You feel anything there? That feels fine. I'm putting 10x pressure over here. What are you feeling here again? Oh yeah, it's really sore. Yeah, it is sore. A lot of inflammation happening there. Right. So docs ask questions. That's going to be key. Doctors, before you leave that room, you got to do the spouse script. Repeat, doctors and providers, before you leave the room, before you get back to the front desk or case manager, you need to do a spouse script. It's simple. I'm going to improvise it here for a second. So Sonia, you have a lot going on today. I think to see if you're a candidate for care, I'm going to order a set of x-rays on these areas of the spine. Now, if you are a candidate for care, we're going to have you come back in for a second visit. And if we get to the root cause, I'm going to give you a full plan of action, how we're going to tackle this. It's going to be really important that your spouse is here, a support person in your life, somebody that is going to support you along the way. Who would that be for you? And Sonia would say, my husband. Okay, good. We want to have him here with you tomorrow, but latest by Friday. And the person says, well, why don't you have my husband here? And I go, if this is going to be a program for you and it gets you back to hiking and doing what you want to do, you're likely going to have to be coming in multiple times per week. So I know you mentioned you have kids, so I just want to make sure your husband is here to know what the schedule of care would look like and any financial obligations you have outside of your insurance. Again, if you're a candidate for care, likely we will have some benefits for your insurance, but there will be an out-of-pocket expense too, in which we'll tackle that. Again, if we find that we can help you. If we can't help you, we'll refer you out to a specialist that can. But it's really important that, what's your husband's name? None. Okay, good. None. So it's really important that Bill is here tomorrow with your appointment. Is that something you can make work? Yeah. Good. And if it's, he works. Great. Can we at least FaceTime him in for the appointment tomorrow? Good. Can you step out for 10 minutes out of the office on a break and just take the appointment on FaceTime with you? Can? Great. Excellent. I'm going to have Angela go ahead and get that scheduled with you once your x-rays are done. Docs, you got to say that, doctors. Doctors at home, you got to say that. Don't leave it to your front desk to do it. Again, if you're asking any more than $1,000 out-of-pocket expense, you got to have somebody else there. You're going to hear the whole my spouse isn't here objection 1,000 times over if it's a decent out-of-pocket expense. If you're expecting the patient to come in 3 times for any decent amount of weeks, they need to have their support person there so they can have someone there to take care of, pick up the kids, drop them off while they can get into care, right? Super important, docs, you start the spouse script. Again, I'm doing bullet points, rapid fire, so we can take a look and do an audit of how we can get better, right? 24 to 48 hours. So take a look at day 1 right now. I want you to review that with the person next to you. Everything I bullet pointed so far. What are you doing well? And then what are you missing right now on your day 1? I'm going to give you guys 1 minute before lunch. Take a look at your day 1. What are we missing in our day 1 flow? 1 minute. Go to the person next to you and review in your day 1 flow. And Georgia, have you go ahead and do a little round robin here. What are we missing in day 1? Yes. Okay, good deal. We got 2 minutes for lunch.
But sometimes to go for sure.
That was fast. Yeah, good job, Melissa. Excellent work.
Yeah.
Same page. All right, guys, let's just high level and 60 seconds or less, day 2. All right. When you welcome them, oops, that's day 1. There we go. Oh, guys, these are key questions. I shall end off with this.
I'm ready to go.
These are going to be key questions I'm going to give you guys today. A little taste from the communication and closing seminar that you guys can take away today. These are really important questions in the consult you can be asking to get the conversation moving towards one of raising the person's awareness on their function, emotion, and who else it's affecting. Really good ones. This is the key one. If you don't do any of these guys, but in your consults, you start asking this question. Dr. Chris, I'll have you go ahead and just read that out loud. Oh, the mic, yep.
How have others been affected by this?
This is the key one. Sometimes people won't do it for themselves, but they will do care for other people. So here's the question. Who else has been affected by this? Ask that question during your consult. You might be surprised with some of the responses you get. And sometimes patients will bring their spouse in on the first visit. And you ask the question, who else has been affected by it? And they go, I don't know. And then their spouse goes, me, right? So it's a good key question to ask to really help create that engagement. On the rest of the PowerPoint, guys, again, this is just a high level session on getting patients excited. If you do a solid day 1, it gets them ready for day 2 each and every time. Here's the flow chart, guys, for a good day 2, right? Key patient education pamphlets, hand off to the doctor, doing the phase placing. So you leave the room with the patient's x-rays up, their chief complaint, and a normal x-ray, and say, I'm gonna get the doctor. We'll be right back in. Patients staring at their own x-rays in comparison to a healthy spine or healthy knee. Doctor says, which phase do you think you're in? Which phase, do you have the chart here? Which phase do you think you're in? Right? Ask that key question, do the report. Good read back, right? So you said this has been happening in Georgia for the last 15 years. In that time, you told me bop, 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 bop. And in the exam and the report, we found bop, 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 bop. What do you think's going to happen in another 15 years if you don't do anything about this?
Probably just get worse.
Probably just get worse. That's your read back. Georgia, is this something you want to handle?
Yes.
Good, because it's going to be a lot of work. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making a change with your health?
Well, I don't want to get worse, so I'm at a 10 out of 10.
Good. If she says anything less than a 10, I go 1 out of 10, handle the objections, move on. What would prevent you from starting and following this all the way through to completion? Present the care plan, keep it simple, do one option at a time, right? Most of our patients like to take care of this in full because they can get a 10% bookkeeping savings. They typically use a mileage card or their HSA for this. Is that an option that works best for you? You can go ahead and save $400 off your care plan.
Yeah.
Well, great, awesome. And they say, no, I can't do that. It's so much money. Oh my gosh, no problem. We have another option here for you. We can break this into installments for you. It's going to be X amount per month, and we can go ahead and take care of that in the office. Does that work better for you? No, I can't do that. It's too much either. No problem. We also do outside financing options. We have scratch pay as well as care credit, and that takes your payment down to $192 a month. Does that sound better? I can't because of my credit. Totally understand. Out of these three options, what do you think we can do? Oh, it's just too much money. Right? Oh, you're right. It is a lot of money. This is a big investment in your health, right? It seemed that you told me that you want to get back to playing with your kids and being with your grandkids. How do you want to make this work? I don't know. I wish my insurance was going to cover it. I was hoping that would happen. I totally get it. I wish your insurance would cover it too. I do. But to be honest, the very reason you're here in front of us with debilitating knee pain is because of your health insurance. Your health insurance isn't going to save you. But the good news is you're here in front of us today. We can take care of this now. So let's figure out a way we can do this. What if we break the payments up in this way or in this way? Would that work better? Yeah, I guess so. These are just different, and part of the communication closing ceremonies are just some different objection handles you guys can learn and drill and practice and move through. Right? That's going to be your high points of day 2. Really key, the most, the point here that is missed the most and is rushed through the most and forgotten the most is the read back. Yeah, it might be one of the most crucial questions you ask in a second visit. Again, as we go into lunch right now, I'm going to give you the read back one more time. If you've done the report of findings course, if you've done communication and closing seminar, you know what the read back is. It's instituted in your day 2. I'm going to give it to you one more time just to make sure we have this in place before we go into the care plan with the patient. Okay. All right. So now you told me this has been happening with you've been suffering from this for the last 15 years, right? So in 15 years time, you told me, then I read back verbatim what they told me in the first visit and how it's been affecting them. Then I go through the bullet points of their diagnosis. We found this, we found this, and we found this. So if it's gotten this bad in the last 15 years, I mean, let's just be honest, Sonia, what do you think is going to happen in another 15 years if we don't do anything about this? It will get worse, right? And they go, oh, I don't know, might get worse. And you go, might get worse? And you go, yeah. And you go, well, if the alignment is out in your car, does your tire wear improperly some of the time or all the time?
All the time.
All the time, right? So with this condition, is it going to get worse some of the time or all the time? All the time. You're right. It's going to get worse all the time. So is this something you want to handle? Yes. Good. It's going to be a commitment. Scale 1 to 10. Now go right into the next step. But that question is going to be key. The number one reason we find people that don't say yes in many cases is all the other steps are being followed and the read back is being forgotten about, rushed through. I didn't have time for it. I forgot. That question is your key question at the end of day 2. Right? So again, before I leave, whenever I have the doctor, if I'm the case manager, I get the patient ready for the report. I stick these 2 x-rays up on the screen. This is the patient's x-rays. This is a healthy, normal spine. I have them just stare at it. If it's for knees, healthy knee, degenerative knee, I put both up. Okay, this is an x-ray of your knee. This is an x-ray of a healthy, functioning knee. I'm going to go ahead and bring the doctor. He's going to do a full report and let you know what he found. He'll be in just a couple minutes. It's sitting up there. What is the patient doing? On their phone or they're what? Staring at this. Right? I'm getting them warmed up to the x-ray. 4 rules for handling objections. Always acknowledge, appropriately, and agree. You're right. It is expensive. You're right. I wish your insurance would cover this too. Right? I know. None of us have a lot of time. I get it. Right? 2, treat every objection as if it's a complaint. Just I went $6.82 for a cup of coffee. That's way too much. Person went, and what did I do? I paid for it. Just complaining. That's all it is. The objection is the very reason why you need to start care today. The very reason you don't have time is the very reason you need to do this. Imagine if you didn't have time and this condition got worse. That's the reason, Jerry, we got to get you onto care today and get you feeling better. Ask one question at a time and get the answer. So do you want to do the care credit option? Do you want to do pay in full, or do you want to pay by visit, or do you want to break it up this way? One at a time, just one question at a time. So Joe, here's the option. Does that work best for you? And then what's the last point I'm going to make before lunch here, guys? When you ask a question, zip it. I won't say the words, but STFU. Just fuck up. Like, don't say anything. You guys need to stop talking. You ask the patient a question. You can sign here to get started. Well, the doctor's ready for you. And sometimes they pause, and they pause for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You just zip it until they decide. They'll either object or they will move forward. So when you ask the patient a question, you start talking more, you start talking nervously, and you start rambling, ask 10 more questions, or you what? Zip it, right? Excellent advice from Master Closer over here. Ask a question and zip it. Guys, silence is your best helper when getting the patient to yes. And it is your one, it's like your magic wand to get the person moving forward. But you got to get comfortable in silence. That was good. But get the giggles out of your system now, right? So you can get comfortable with the patient thinking and working through it. Because when they start working through it, they're trying to find a way to say yes. If the patient and the spouse start going back and forth, don't try to solve their problem. If they start arguing, let them argue it out. They're doing their thing. You do what? You smile and nod, right? They go, and you go, and they go, you go. Now, last thing I'll say, I keep saying last thing. There's so many good. I've learned so much from you guys over the years. I'm just sharing your guys' stuff to you right now, right? When you are also, Dr. Matt always talks to this too. When you are getting the person, you're going over the way to start care. Nod your head. So Maria, the way we can get you started today is a lot of our patients, they like to do this option here, which allows you to pay it in full and a 10% discount. You can use your HSA or a mileage card. That work best for you? Just nod. Yeah, good. And you can work it out from there, right? So nod and get the person to a yes. Also, I keep saying also, I'm sorry. There's too many goodies. The amount of yeses you can get a patient to say out loud through day 1 or day 2 will get them more comfortable saying yes at the end. Mm-hmm. So think of that. Like when you walk into a room, if I knock on the door and I go, Cheryl, oh, yes. Right? Georgia, yes. Good. Good to see you. How you feeling today? Good. All right. Ready to go? Yeah. Get the patient to repeat the word yes over and over again in day 1, day 2. We'll get them more comfortable with saying it when they have to make an actual decision to yes. Don't use dollars when you're telling them how much they're going to have to spend, but use the word dollars when how much they're going to save. Okay, so your program is going to be $16.95. Option A will allow a 10% discount of up to $160. And you can use an HSA or you can use your mileage card so you earn points along the way. Does that work for you? Great. Let's go ahead and move forward. And then just ask for the sale. People will walk right into it. You handle objections along the way, and you'll be good to go. None of this will work, though, if you haven't built rapport, you don't have their ruin, and they're not engaged. If they've been kind of skating through the top of the day 1, day 2, you're not going to close them at the end. They're going to have every objection to the bugs in the work. So building rapport skills, educating the patient along the way, and making your office a different experience will get them closer to yes. A lot of tools you guys can use moving forward. Well, high level, getting the patients excited to go into yes. So now that we've got a lot of new patients in the books, a lot of patients that have said yes to care, after lunch, we're going to be covering how to keep them on care all the way through to graduation, going over front desk protocols we all can improve to get better, to get them to graduation. So that being said, great morning, guys. Round of applause across the board. Give it up for yourselves.